All right, this is a continuation of the cradle to cradle, like environmental shit that I always am talking about, right? The last one I talked about I don't understand, right, why New York City doesn't have like a standardized like school. I mean, probably because if you looked into it, it doesn't work that way, right? But it kind of does work that way because, like, why? Like, you ever notice that they just throw out all the chairs? They just throw out all the chairs, all the business, all the school stuff, right? And when I went to school, I remember I went to my high school, they had like hundreds of thousands of fucking chairs in this fucking hole, like fucking rotting for like for years. Makes no fucking sense. They look like regular chairs. I guess they just didn't want the chairs, right? And I said in that video how they should have like some sort of standardized format, and where you could, if a school decides to throw out everything in their building, you could just break it down, either recycle it or re-put it together for somewhere else. I don't know, some shit, son. A cradle to cradle system, right? They could start with the public schools, right? And like governmental institutions, right? And just standardize. I don't know, son. I don't fucking know. I don't know, right? But what I do know, right, is that they gotta fucking do it for these private businesses too. They gotta do it for these private businesses too. They gotta make a list of all of the universal things every business is used, right? And just even if like the first one is like the tiniest thing in the world, like paper clips, fucking paper clips, or paper clips and the staple clips, right? Create a system to grab the paper clips and whatever and fucking recycle them. If it takes forever just for one, son, fine. But they gotta one by one. They gotta go one by one. How much paper clips and how many fucking staples are just lost into the sea of fucking garbage in the city of New York? How much tons of metal of whatever the fuck that shit is made out of? How many tons? How many tons just gone into the cracks of the New York City earth? Maybe like 1 ton or 2 tons. A lot of tons. Probably a lot of tons. Probably a lot of tons. I don't know how much a ton weighs, but it's probably a bunch. Because New York, it's been like 200 years. How old are paper clips? Like 1930 something. I'm assuming the 1930 sounds like the time where the fucking paper clips got invented. I don't know. I'll search that up later. It's been a while, so I'm guessing at least a ton. New York City could make money off of that. They could make money off that or some shit. Right? So I'm thinking that, right, this in conjunction with their, like, it's probably easier to do this with institutions they are directly controlling, right? But nah, they gotta do it with these private businesses are fucking insane, son. Bro, there is the amount of waste that these private institutions create is beyond comprehension. It is unfathomable. I don't have to pay for food. I don't have to pay for food. I've thought of so many different ways of just getting so many tonnage of food thrown in my lap that it's like, this doesn't make sense. This is This is diabolical. It's almost diabolical. At one point, this is diabolical. Like, why? Why? I don't know. Right? They got to do something about it, son. And if they got to start with the fucking paper clips and the fucking staples, a cradle-to-cradle system, do it. We're stuck here, son. We are stuck here, okay? The garbage is already creating a continent in the middle of the ocean. There's like 3 of them. We have 3 garbage continents floating in the fucking ocean, right? They're called the garbage patches. There's nothing great about them, son. Okay, so I don't give a flying fuck what any of these stupid pedophile motherfuckers gotta fucking say, son. I don't give a fuck. Fuck their stupid ass, son. You recycle the shit out of everything. Shut your stupid dumb ass up, son. The second thing they gotta do, right? This is a two-parter. Right? We gotta work on the litter, right? Now, I would personally like to see motherfuckers literally walking every block twice a day and picking up everything and recycling. I would like to see that, right? But I don't, right? That'd be great, right? But I have noticed there's other things we could do, right? I have noticed that, right? The structure of the blocks, right? The structure of our city's blocks or whatever, right? Creates certain environments, right? Which pushes litter in a certain way, right? The wind drags litter in certain universal directions, right? They go down certain blocks. They go into certain areas, right? And I'm assuming they all basically just slowly like fall into the sea to slowly disappear and shit until there's a Great Pacific garbage floor, right? The patch, and then we got the Great Pacific garbage floor, right? So what I'm thinking, right? I've talked about this before, like people actually going around it, right? But I'm thinking we could create a system, right? You would need people to sort of figure this out, right? And where at one point, let's say at night, where there's not that many people, you would have these, I don't know, like these nets that would pop up at the edges of the block, right? And all the litter that the night wind pushes down those blocks, right, get trapped in that net, right? And then it's easy to scoop up or some shit. I'm just brainstorming here. Right? But the idea under it, right, is working smarter, not harder, right? Understanding the structure, right, and the geological, geo-weather, temporal movement of our city, and using that to benefit us, right? Right? Fuck it, like we got a garbage problem, right? And the wind is pushing it, right? We'll let the wind do the work for us. You understand how that would look? I don't know, right? But there are certain things about the structure of our city and our environment that if we truly understood it, right, we could use it to our benefit. On that note, right, I noticed something very interesting, right? The way our city and our blocks or whatever is shaped, right? There are certain spots, right, in the city that the water never touches, right? I've noticed this. There are certain spots where they will always be dry, no matter how hard it rains, right? It's kind of like understanding this. If we understood these relationships, right, we could use it to our benefit. So that's what we got to do, right? We got to tell these businesses, right, this is how shit done. You got a problem, you can suck my fucking nuts, right? And anybody else, you can suck a big fucking nut, shut the fuck up, right? And obviously understanding our environment in a smarter way, being able to tackle these things like litter, etc., right? And hopefully, right, your children will get to use the beach in 50 years, right? It's not like, oh, there's no such thing as beach. It's just garbage. Yeah, hopefully.